Good morning, Internet fans. Ryan Perry, Simple Biz Support. Today is Thursday, October 15th. Therefore, it is Internet Marketing Thursday. That is the name of the show. I have Virginie Dorn with Business Website Center. Good morning, Virginie.
Good morning and happy Thursday to you, Ryan. How are you?
It's a very happy Thursday because we have not had a show for the last 2 weeks because we've had issues. I could hear you, but you weren't able to hear me. And of course, everything else worked. You know, you could talk to people on Skype. I was able to talk to other people, but for some reason, you and I, technology wasn't working. So I'm excited that you can hear me today and that we finally get to do this episode that we were going to do 3 weeks ago.
I'm excited too. And for some people who hear us and have the same issue, I just switched to Chrome just for Google Hangout and it fixed the issue. So go figure. But yeah, I'm happy to be here and wrap up that series about Google's guidelines.
Yeah, because up until we had the technical issues, we have been talking about SEO and some different information that we're taking directly from Google. And I think this is the most important thing, is that the information is coming directly from Google. So it's not a question of, you know, this is what I feel or this is what you feel. This is coming directly from Google. So this is really good information. And today we're going to talk about some guidelines. You have 5 listed. However, number 5 is actually got multiple pieces to it.
Yes, the 5th guideline is 12 not to do kind of list from Google themselves. And again, our role here is to make it in words that you can comprehend, because Google can be quite technical. So we've taken every single guideline they offer for free online and made sense out of it for you so you can understand them better.
All right, perfect. Well, let's go ahead and start with number 1 then.
Well, the first quality guideline recommendation is to always keep your visitors in mind when building pages. It's a little vague and it kind of makes sense, but that is their first quality guideline. And I know, Ryan, you're a big proponent of that, and the user should always be first and the Google bot should be second. And yes, Google agrees with you.
Yeah, you know, I always tell clients when they're not sure which way do I go from an SEO point of view, I always tell them that SEO is not absolute. It should never be the guiding factor that drives everything. It really needs to be about the customer experience, because it really doesn't matter if you can get somebody to your website. Yes, that's an important part of it, but if they don't like what they see and the message isn't correct, then why spend the time, money, and energy driving people to your website?
Yep, I agree too. So their second quality guideline is a bit vague as well. It's about what they're saying is like, do not do anything to deceive your visitors. Okay, so it's a big vague, and I'm like, how does the algorithm figure out one website is deceiving when another one isn't? So they don't explain how they figure it out, but this, nonetheless, it is their second recommendation.
Well, wouldn't deception be like stuffing keywords but matching the font with the background color, redirects? Trying to think what other funny things people have tried to do in the past. Small text.
Yes. So that that covers all of that, which is again and part of their 5th and last guidelines of their entire series, which does those 12 not to do. Everything you mentioned is there as well. But it's just ethical business to just not deceive, to do the right thing by your users each and every time.
All right. Well, I guess that makes sense because they're trying to remember what their motto was: do no evil. That was kind of the 2 guys that founded Google. One of their mottos was do no evil.
Yes, and I agree with them. Now, the 3rd one is kind of similar. They say don't use what's the so-called SEO tricks. They might work for a few weeks, but they will catch on to it and penalize the website. And their comment was kind of cute. It was like, well, if your SEO trick is not something you're comfortable explaining to a Google employee, then don't do it. Like if your mama doesn't approve, don't do it, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that would be for people that have heard the white hat, gray hat, black hat, anything that's deceptive, any type of trickery, trying to think some gimmicky type of deal that's going to, overnight success. Typically that's black hat. And a lot of times, yes, those tactics do work. The big question is for how long. Worst case scenario, Google will actually delist your website if they feel like they want to. And essentially, if they delist your website, they remove you from the database and you do not exist at all. So you can do all the gimmicky stuff that you want, but you will never be found in a Google search at that point.
Yes, I've heard horror stories. And at that point, the only choice for customers will be to register a brand new domain name and build a brand new website with totally different content on a brand new server. I mean, it's like moving your entire brick and mortar company to a new town. So don't do the tricks. They don't work.
That just not worth it.
Now, the fourth one is, they said, when you are building your site, both in content and visually, just make sure your content is valuable. They're looking for value. Again, their fourth recommendation is a bit vague, but remember that Google and Bing and Yahoo, they're in the business of delivering valuable content to internet searcher. So make sure you're offering something, not just text for the sake of having copywriting.
Right. And, I kind of wonder if some people don't realize that Google is a business that has customers, in the sense that I think people are so used to just going on and going to Google and doing their search, whatever. But for Google, it's really important that they provide you, the end user, good quality information, because if they don't do that, then you're probably going to go, I'm not going to use Google anymore. I'm going to go use Bing or Yahoo. And all that ad revenue, when you click on ads, they make billions of dollars every year from that. So they want to deliver good quality information. And the reality is, the other thing you got to think about as a business owner is that Google's not comparing you to Google. They have standards, yes, but essentially they're comparing you to your other competitors.
Yes.
And if your other competitor is doing a better job, Google is going to typically is going to reward that person by placing them at the top. And then you have this hierarchy. And you know what? It's tough to get at the top sometime. It takes effort. It takes work. It takes just the due diligence of doing things right, spending the extra time, money, or energy to create good quality content. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that a lot of business owners have when it comes to SEO, is they're going, well, I don't want to spend a lot of money, so I'm going to buy, some service from some unknown group from who knows where. And then the quality's not there. And because the quality's not there, long-term success is going to be very small. And it could also be damaging, because now you've got all this crappy content on your website that's actually damaged your reputation. It's like going to a chamber mixer and just handing out all this junk to people and telling them, hey, I'm awesome. Look at all this junk I'm handing out to you. You've damaged your reputation, and it's hard to regain that.
Oh, this is so well said. And for those of you that I missed a few words, you should rewind that webinar and listen to it several times over. So, yes, well, I agree, 100%. Now that brings us to the last fifth quality guideline, which is also the final guidelines from Google in their 3-part series, which have all the do not do on your website guidelines. The first one of 12 is exactly that. It has to do with content. Don't use program, then generate automatic content. And there are programs you can buy out there, and oftentimes scrape content from other pages or websites and kind of put it together. It's an automation that they don't like. They really want a human eye to prepare or review that content on your site. Again, think value and content and fresh and genuine. So just, again, that's the first do not do. Now, the second thing has to do with form linking, which you and I have discussed many times before. And to remind our viewers today, form linking is when you purchase, sometimes you get an email, $49.99, and we can have 2,000 websites linked to your website. Well, those 2,000 websites are typically really bad websites with bad reputation, often tagged by Google as poor quality, deceptive, sometimes with malicious malware on it. So it's called farm linking. It makes no sense. It brings you no value. So Google will catch on to it.
And it's a very old system, you know, but the crazy part is it used to work. You go, gosh, what's it been 2 or 3 years since Panda released? It doesn't work anymore. So don't believe in that. Same thing for Twitter and Facebook followers. If you get a message that says, hey, we can give you 1,000 followers for $19.95, don't do it. It's garbage. They're fake. They're phony. It's junk. Just
And
do
Facebook,
good. Do good, for crying out loud.
you know, and Facebook will remove those links too. Like it may go up. I have clients say I'd spend $49 and I had 5,000 followers and now I'm down to 50. Yeah. Facebook realized that's what you were doing and moved all of your followers. And sometimes they even remove the good ones in the process.
Yeah. And you know, but the reality is they're actually doing you a favor by getting rid of all that crap. So, you know, I think people get caught up in numbers too much. It's an ego thing, you know. It's really important that I have 100 followers, 1,000 followers, 5,000. Great. You could have 10,000 followers. You could have 10,000 backlinks. But if it's all junk and it's not really creating quality clients for you, resources, you know, anything like that, it's like, just get rid of it. Don't worry about the number so much. Worry about the quality.
Yes.
And that takes energy and effort. The next one on the list is sneaky redirects. I like how it says sneaky redirects.
Which one are you? Because I'm on the third one.
I skipped over cloaking. I'm sorry.
Well, the third one is about having pages with no textual content at all. The exception, of course, will be a photo gallery or video gallery. But even in those, they would like to have some verbal description or textual description of what each photo means or each video is about. But having pages with just 2 big images, they don't like it. So that's what they're telling us. Now, the fourth one is cloaking, C-L-O-A-K. And cloaking, it's a lot of people don't know it's something people do. It's showing the bots different content when you search you show your actual visitors. There are techniques to do that. And they are heavily penalized if Google find out that's what you are doing. So again, a big penalty, do not cloak. If someone brings it to you at a great SEO technique, just send them away. You don't want them working on your team.
Yeah.
And then the sneaky redirect. As you mentioned, you know, the redirecting someone just in a sneaky way when they first arrive to your page. This is something the Google bot doesn't like. Again, another penalty. It will decrease your ranking and maybe delist it. Let me see. And actually, I'm looking at their text, absolutely forbidden. So no sneaky redirect. Of course, you can redirect from time to time when it makes sense. But if it's sneaky and you're doing it in a way, then, you know, again, you will not say to a Google employee, don't do it.
Right. Perfect. And we've got a little bit over a minute here. So let's kind of blow through the last couple of bullet points.
Okay, do not hide text stuff with keywords that don't make sense grammatically, but we'll know it's called keyword stuffing. Don't build a doorway website and pages. That used to be a technique we'll use, no longer a good technique. Let me go through my list. Another bad idea is to use content from multiple sites and build your own content based on their content. It's called scraping. Again, a heavy penalty. Affiliate programs, even though they can be great for revenue, just make sure they make sense to your website. You know, having an ad for red shoes when you're a therapist, it doesn't work. Again, more about keyword stuffing. Don't do it. Don't just put a bunch of keywords in your footer. It's a technique that used to work, but now is heavily penalized. And there's 3 more. Having page on which you or hackers have viruses or malware. So make sure you check your website from time to time. Try to install SiteLock, which will inform you if you have a hack attack.
All right. The other thing is, sorry, I just want to interject, is going to be your Google Webmaster Tools will let you know if it's detected malware on your website.
Yeah, so that's a free tool, again, offered by Google. The last 2 points on the quality guidelines would be the rich snippets. That's something that started a couple years ago. If you don't know what they are, I think we've done webinars about it. Don't overuse them. So this is their own tools, and they say don't do too much of it. It's like a good cake. You don't want to eat too much of it. And finally, don't automate submission to Google for indexation. They like when you either let it go organically or you manually submit to them through Google Webmaster. They leave the program and automatically submit to Google every other day for the same website. Again, another penalty.
All right. It's kind of like the little kids, you know, at the grocery stores, and they just go, mom, 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 mom. After a while, it gets annoying. It's like, hey, we know you're there. We have billions and billions of other pages that we need to index. We'll get to you.
Yes.
My favorite way, if it's a really important, well, regardless, if it's an important page and it's relevant, put a link out on Twitter and Facebook. And that is a great way to notify Google, because they live on both Facebook and Twitter, that, hey, here's a new link. I'd like you to add it to your database.
Very true. Yes, do it.
All right, perfect. Well, Virginie, we are out of time. I think, you know, the core thing or the key thing that you should take away from this as a business owner is just do good. Do things correctly. You know, if you're a brand new dentist, as an example, you have an uphill battle. That's just the reality, because other people that have had their websites for the last 10 years and have been doing good, creating content on a regular basis, have the advantage on you. And that's where you may need to look into doing some paid advertising, either through Google or Facebook, until you can create enough of a reputation with Google that you can compete at that level. So just do good, people.
Yes, and in your personal life as well.
There you go. That's it for today. We will see you next Thursday. Virginie, I'm glad we could actually talk, and that you could hear me today. It was fabulous. And I'm crossing my fingers that we can do so again next Thursday.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.